Hello everybody, this is Charles over at Teachers Discovery and welcome to a Flangoo update. Today is Wednesday, October the 14th, 2020, and we have made quite a few changes and updates to the platform itself and ways that you can interact with it and ways that you can sort it and just keep all of your books and all of your students a little more organized. So I'm going to go over everything starting from the beginning, especially for people who this might be your first time ever looking in Flangoo. I'm going to show you how to log in, how to set up your students and all of your student accounts, how to monitor their progress so you can see what they're doing in Flangoo, and how to organize your books. So let's get started. Alright, so the very first thing, of course, is if you're brand new to Flangoo and you want to try it out, you just click right here at flangoo.com, try it free for a week. It's not going to ask for your credit card and it's not going to ask you for any student information. You simply click this button and it's going to take you right here where you're going to put in your name, your email address, a password of some kind, and then we're just curious to know how you found us. And then register, and that's it. You'll be tossed straight into Flangoo and you can start using it right away. And I'm going to help you get started with that by showing you what it looks like. So once you log in, the very first thing you're going to notice are all of the books that are currently in Flangoo. And we currently have them separated by levels. So you'll see level 1 books, then you scroll down, you'll see our level 2 and our level 3. Now, every once in a while you're going to find a book that looks like this, where it's kind of grayed out and it says coming soon. That's just a little teaser for you to let you know that this is the next book that's about to be added to Flangoo. It's on its way. It's probably just going through its last stages of getting cleaned up or getting audio or whatever else that it needs. And then it will be launching, so it's something to look forward to. There are more books coming, of course. There are always more books coming to Flangoo. Something you can keep a lookout for. We are averaging about 2 to 3 new books a month, but every once in a while we get surprised and we get even more than that. There are books that are coming beyond these levels, so keep an eye out for books that are coming for pre-level 1 and books that are coming for more of the higher levels, so for level 3, level 4 I believe is on the way, and I think there's even an AP book for Frida Kahlo that's going to be coming to the platform soon, so something to watch for. Alright, so let's jump right into one of the books and I'll show you what it looks like. All we do is click on the book that we want to read. As soon as it pops open, we get a quick description about that book. I always call this the back of book information. It's if it were a paperback book and you flip it over to the back, this is what you'd usually see. A quick summary of the book, some information about it, the level, the total unique words, total word count, and the tenses. And then to start reading, of course, we just click on Start Reading. And it's going to pop it straight open. Now this is something new. We used to have the audio buttons up here, but we thought it would be a lot easier if they were down here along the bottom, because now they can follow you as you are reading and scrolling through. So we just click this button, it is going to start reading.
La leyenda de Popocatépetl e Iztaccíhuatl, inspirada por la leyenda mexicana tradicional.
I can also use this button here to speed up or slow down the narration as it goes. Here's my volume control if I need it to be a little quieter or louder. And the total runtime for the audio for this chapter. Now the reason why the format looks like this, because I've had a couple of people ask me about this, we noticed a lot of people are reading stories on their phones. And we wanted to make sure that our books were going to be very, very legible and easy to use and easy to read on multiple devices. So you'll be able to open this up on your smartphone or your tablet or your laptop or whatever device that you're using, and everything is going to be very clear, very legible, and very easy to read. We also have some beautiful, great big artwork to go along with all of the stories. Some of the stories even have video clips that go with them. And then when we reach the bottom of the chapter, we have some options. One of them is chapter questions. And if I click this button, it is going to download it right away for me and I can open it. Here are the chapter questions for Chapter 1, and this is how you can start to involve some integration with your LMS programs, like if you're using Google Classroom or Schoology or Canvas. You can grab the chapter questions right out of here, and because they're done in Microsoft Word, they're very easy to manipulate and change. If I wanted to, I could remove questions, I could add my own questions if I'd like, and then this is very easily uploaded into my Google Drive for Google Classroom, or straight into my Canvas or Schoology, and then my students can download it, do the work, and then submit it. And when I'm done with the chapter, I simply click Next Chapter to move on to the next chapter. If I want to navigate a little more quickly, up here at the top, I call this the hamburger menu. I just click this button, and I can easily move between any of the chapters. I can get to the glossary or even to the credits. And it's just a really quick way to navigate through the book. When I'm done reading, I can leave, and when I want to come back to this book, I simply click on it again, and it is going to remember exactly where I left off, so I just click Continue Reading, and it takes me back to where I was. Something else about this page I wanted to show you is this right here, the teacher's rating and the student's rating. This is what this means. The teacher's rating is for all of the teachers that currently have Flangoo. You have an opportunity to actually add your reviews and your opinions about this book by clicking on the button that says Rate This Book. Your students have the same thing. Now this one, it says My Students, it's very specific to you. These are for your students, so the only people who can see their reviews are you. These are not shared publicly with anybody else. When they click on Rate This Book, or you do, it gives you the ability to leave a rating and then leave your opinion. Now you notice how it's not going to let me right now. That's because I haven't read enough of this book. I need to read at least 80% or more of this book in order to leave a review, and that's going to be for me and for all of my students who want to leave a review. Alright, so now that we know how to navigate through a book, let's take a look at adding some students. So I'm going to click this top button here to bring down my little pull down menu, and I am going to select Manage Students. Here is where I can manage, sort, and create my classes and my students. So my class groups, these are my classes that I created earlier. And if I want to create another one, I simply click on this button that says Add Class Group. And I would create a class. Let's do class 4B. Of course, you can name it whatever you want, and it just gets added to the list. You'll need to add the class groups first before you can add your students. And I'm going to show you why. We have two different ways that you can add your students. One is to do it manually yourself, and another is to have your students do it by themselves. So let me show you how to do it manually first. This is where you are going to add your students. So you would simply give it a first name, a last name, and then we'd select which class this person is in and add that student. That student has been added, and then we would add another. And this can be a little bit tedious if you have a lot of students, so I much prefer the other method, to have the students do it themselves. So under Add Students, it's this one, Have Students Sign Up, and I just click this button, and it's going to bring me to this page. And the most important thing on this page is this right here, which I am simply going to highlight, right-click, copy. This URL is very specific to you and your account. This is what your students are going to need in order to sign in. And we've also included it in an entire email, but you really don't need this whole email. Well, unless you really want to, you certainly can, but really the only thing that you need is just this right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you can put it in an email, or you can send it to them via your LMS, so put it into your Google Classroom or Canvas or whatever it is that you're using. They're only going to need it one time. And that's going to be the very first time when they sign in. So let's pop it in there. And this is what it looks like when they first see it. And then they're going to select what class they're in. And they get to give themselves a password. And register. And as soon as your new student registers themselves, it is going to automatically log them straight into Flangoo so they can start reading immediately. Now this is important. When they first sign in for the first time, it is going to give them this login code. And you're going to make sure that your students write this down or copy paste it somewhere or put it somewhere safe where they're not going to lose it. They're going to need this login code along with the password that they just created in order to log back in next time. The reason why they need this is because Flangoo is not keeping track of your students' personal information. It never at any point asks them for things like their email addresses or anything like that. You could have students that have the same names easily listed in this system. So, in order for the system to keep track of who is who, it assigns everybody one of these login codes. And that is why it is so important. So, just make sure your students get a chance to put that down somewhere the first time that they log in. Back here under my student management, I can now separate all of my students by class by just clicking on the class, and I can see just the students who are in that group, including my newest student that I just added. So there's my new student. If he spelled his name wrong, I can click on this little button here and change the spelling. I can get his login code just in case he forgets. I can also change the class period that he's in if he registered for the wrong class, or if we have to move him to a different class. I simply click this and I can select any class we need to move him to and tell it OK. And now he's been moved to the other class. This right here is keeping track of the amount of time that they spend in Flangoo. This is how much time they've spent this week, and this is how much time that they have spent this semester, or time overall. To get a much more detailed look at the amount of time that they're spending in Flangoo and what they're doing, I click this button here that says View under Student Progress. Here is where I can see exactly which book they were in, the date that they started, the last time they were here viewing it, how many chapters they've read out of how many, and exactly the amount of time that they've spent in just this book. Also, if they forget their password, this is where you would come to change their password, and then click Update, and then let them know what you changed it to, and then when they log in, they can then go into their own account and change it to whatever they need to. Now, an important note about how this is tracking their time. Remember how the books are laid out. In order for it to track their time, your students need to be active in Flangoo, and that means they need to be scrolling, or they need to be clicking on things, or they need to be listening to audio. This tab needs to be the frontmost tab, and they need to be engaged in it. If they open it up and walk away or leave it alone, or if they open up other tabs to do other things, after a few minutes, it is going to gray out the screen and a little pop-up is going to come up that asks, "Are you still here?" And it is no longer at that point tracking their time until they come back to it and actually start doing something again. And then time recording will resume. And that takes care of everything for student management. So next, let's take a look at how to manage your books. So I'm going to click here on Manage Books. And the first thing I need to do is select which class this is going to affect. So I'm going to say everybody in Class 1A. And here is my library of books. Every single book that we have available in the library. And I get to choose which books are available to my students. If I decided they don't need any level 1 books, I can just click the toggle and all of my level 1 books are now gone. And I just click it again to bring them all back. Or if I just decide there's just 1 or 2 books that I'd rather them not have access to, I can simply click just those books off, and now just those books are no longer available in the library for this class. And I can have different settings for different classes. So if I change it to 2B, I don't want them to have level 2 or 3. They just need level 1. And now I can see the difference when I switch back and forth between class 1 and class 2. And again, at any point, I can always turn the books back on so they have access to it. One last thing to look at is the answer keys. If you are using the free version of Flangoo, which is the free trial, you may not have access to this. It may be closed off to you. And we did that because we didn't want students making accounts and being able to get all the answers, of course. For you, if it's a paid version, of course, you'll be able to get right in. And if I click on answer keys, it lists all of the books that are available in the entire library. All I need to do is to click on the title, and it is going to download it as a PDF, and when I open it, you can see exactly what it looks like. And I will scroll down a bit. There are the questions that were available in Chapter 1 to download. I have them here again, this time as a PDF, and if I scroll down even farther, there are all the answers. There are also links to get things like the teacher's guide or the printed version of this book, and by clicking on these, it's simply going to take you straight over to teachersdiscovery.com to give you the option if you wanted to purchase any of these additional items. And that covers, I think, just about everything that you're going to need in Flangoo in order to get started and in order to create your account and share it with your students. We really wanted Flangoo to feel like it was just a library of books in your classroom. We didn't want to bog it down with too many buttons and features, and we didn't want it to feel like you had some kind of a drastic learning curve in order to simply be able to share stories with your students. It needed to be as simple as possible. If we could have done it with just one button, I think we would have. Fortunately, I think there's probably more than one button here, but still, we certainly did our best to make it as easy and as simple as possible, and I hope that we've achieved that. But of course, if you have any questions at all, if you ever feel like you've gotten stuck or there's a feature that you're just not sure how to get to it or you don't quite remember, we have a lot of different ways that you can ask for help. One of them is this button right down here in the bottom, this little chat box. If you click on it, it'll open up a chat window. I can leave my name, my email, and start chatting. And that's going to go straight to our customer service department. They'll be able to sort you out and help you with whatever you need in Flangoo. If it's not quite so urgent, you can always come here to this button that says Need Help. And by clicking here, you can schedule a 15-minute tour with any one of us, and we can help you through something with a one-on-one screen share. We can share our screen with you, or you can share your screen with us if you wanted to show us something in particular. We can lead you through anything very specific or give you another overview of any of the features in Flangoo if you'd like. You can also leave us a message if you like. Just put your name, whatever topic you wanted to discuss, and your message. Click send. That'll go straight to our support team, and they will get back to you as quickly as they can. We are Teachers Discovery, which means you can also click teachersdiscovery.com, go straight to here, and ask for help right here. We've also got a chat. We're Teachers Discovery, so we've got all kinds of ways you can reach us. Of course, the quickest and easiest is going to be either the chat or by giving us a call at 1-800-TEACHER, and we will be here for you whenever you need it. And that, I believe, covers everything in Flangoo. I hope I didn't miss anything. I tried to cover everything, including all of the new features that are available, so I hope you found something useful and something exciting in here. If you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to us. Ask us anything you'd like, really. We're going to be here to help you out. So thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a lot of fun with Flangoo.
Flangoo.com